Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and today's video is a real treat. I know I've mentioned a few times that I'm on a tarot deck moratorium. I haven't purchased any new tarot decks for actually some months, and it's kind of behaviors or actions have consequences. My husband and I had to relocate, so we bought a home that was a little bit out of our comfort range for sure, but we decided to go for the brass ring. And as a consequence, we've been struggling a little bit. And so I've had to put a self-imposed moratorium on my purchasing of tarot decks. However, things are settling down a little bit, and I rationalize that I'm not a woman who spends money on myself. I really don't. I mean, we pay for things for the house, furniture, whatever, if we need it, and stuff like that. But I'm not one that has 35 pairs of shoes. I have a pair of dress shoes, I have a pair of sneakers, and I have a pair of casual shoes, and I wear them until they wear out, and then I buy a new pair, right? This haircut that some of you may have noticed, it's the first time since about 2 or 3 years before COVID that I've ever even been to a hairdresser. I don't buy new clothes. I wear the same clothes. I've lost 70 pounds and I'm still wearing my big old fat person's clothes. So I'm not a vain person. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like I can spend a couple dollars on myself, since if I was the kind that would spend money on myself in other ways, I'd have nice nails, I'd have nice shoes, I'd have nice clothes, I'd get my hair done every week. You see what I'm saying? So I can rationalize. And at any rate, I am thrilled because I have 2 new decks by Benedetti, and I'm real excited to show them to you. I will get a few videos out of these 2 decks. I'll show each one of them by themselves, to allow them to shine. One of them, and the one that I'll be focusing on today, is the Tarot of Marseille by Payen, 1743. I don't have any other publication of this particular deck. I do have the Jean-Pierre Payen of 1713, this one published by Yves Renaud, and I will be comparing them together in a future video in a couple of days, probably alongside with the Dodal, because I believe there is a connection between these 3 decks, the Dodal and the 2 Payens, but not today. Today is strictly going to be focused on the Jean Payen, 1743. And I also want to mention that I also received Marco's version of the Noble. And, as always, it comes in a nice box. This is a nice telescopic box, but vertical rather than lateral. And mine has the image of the bachelor rather than the fool. He has two covers, and this is the one I have. And already they're really something special. I mean, can I talk about the box? Look at that. Real nice. Real nice. When Marco, makes a special deck, it's really special, I mean, you can buy it, you could buy more economical decks from him through playingcards.com. You can do that, right? So there's a range, and you can also buy special decks from Marco. And I think these 2 would definitely be considered special decks. I also want to comment on the packaging. When you get something from Marco, it comes like that. I mean, maybe there was a 2-day wait. I live in the United States. I live on the East Coast. Marco lives in Italy, Rome, I think. And these decks arrived quickly. And you see, there's lots of sharp corners on this deck, right? There was opportunity for it to get bounced around and damaged. Same with this. And not at all. Whenever I get anything from Marco, it's packaged amazingly well. I mean, okay, it has bubble wrap, and some people don't feel good about bubble wrap, but I will reuse it. It will not, it will not be thrown away, you know, so I'll reuse it for sure. And then on top of that, there's this very stiff paper, which I don't know if you can tell, but it gives a lot of bounce. And so with the combination of the bubble wrap around the decks individually, and then this to cushion all of it, I really appreciate it because nothing is ever damaged. It comes fast and nothing's ever damaged. So I wanted to give a shout out to Margot on that. And I cannot wait to see, because I haven't opened it yet and I haven't looked at the cards yet for either of these decks. I've just looked at the box. So let's flip the camera and take a look. Okay, Tarot of Marseille, Jean Payen, 1743. Le Batelier on the cover and Marco's name on the bottom. I presume that the original is in the Fournier Museum in Spain. Nicely done. And the deck created in Avignon, 1743. This particular one published by Marco, and I am very fortunate to have a relatively low number 7 out of 50. Oh wow, 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 wow. Wow. Okay, can you see the texture? Oh, wow. So front and back seem to have a different texture. Wow. Feels great. Beautiful. Look at these blues. Oh my gosh. This is going to be a real treat. Okay. Now, I did mention that I have the 1713 Jean-Pierre Payen tarot. The one that I have was published by Yves Renaud. And interestingly, the 1743 deck, the later deck, was created by the elder, and the 1713 is created by a descendant of Jean Payen, possibly a father-son dynamic, you know, or a uncle-nephew relationship. But they were card makers, you know. And I am looking forward to doing another video comparing it with this deck with the younger Payen as well as the Dodal, because there's a connection between all three. But for today, we're just looking at this. Wow, look at this. Okay. The colors are just fabulous. Just fabulous. And the cardstock, I'll do a riffle shuffle if I can afterwards, but oh man, it just feels really good. Yeah, I do believe that the back is smoother, and then the front has, you know, which will make gliding while shuffling a bit easier. We have a blindfolded Cupid. We have the scalloped edge on the Chariot. Look at the bug eyes. We have a little bit of the bug eyes that we see in the Payen of 1713. That's interesting. Wow, the Hermit here almost looks monocled. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's just how it strikes me. Gosh, these blues are just gorgeous. Just exceptional. And of course, you see the inversion of some of the numbers. Let's see if there have been any other. I don't always pay attention to the inversions. We see the number 4 that I believe we see in the Dodal. And I don't think it has anything to do with it being the 4th card. I think it has to do with, you know, more of being like a publisher's mark or the mark of, you know, somebody who is in this business, particular house, perhaps. Okay, so far, the numbers are correct. But then we have an 8 on the Hanged Man, right? The name is written proper. The image is connected to the way it's written. But if we look at the number 8 card, which is also correctly drawn, right? We have justice. So I'm sure, based on the visual clues, that, you know, this was intended to be number 12 and that there was an error. A lot of times people just don't want to admit that there might be errors in the printing. I like the errors, you know. Some publishers are, you know, will correct the errors for clarification. But I kind of like when the errors are repeated, but, you know, because it allows you to read a particular deck with its own flavor. Okay, we have the face and the belly. You know, we have the, what's the word? Possibility that whatever is happening between the celestial sky and the tower could be emanating from the tower itself rather than the sky. We have the front-facing moon. So we have a TDM1 on our hands. I left this in the order, this is the first time I've opened it up, so I have this in the order that it was sent to me. So we have the King of Cups, the Queen, and I think in other decks that sometimes, I think it is the Queen of Cups, where it sometimes appears as though it's a window. And here we see that it's the canopy, perhaps, of, you know, something hanging from above, or it could have been, you know, the back of a chair, you know, and then the canopy, you know, hanging up in front. And at some point, perhaps it became a window, you know. It's interesting. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but, you know, it's interesting to me when you see enough decks to start figuring possible things out. You start figuring out clues. And here, interesting, there's a gap in between the head and the body of the horse in the Chevalier of Cups, which is, I think, a little different than a knight. It is a knight, but it's like a horseman too. And his nose, he's got 2 squiggles. Here's my boyfriend. Draping the cup with his tunic, with either what it looks like a hat or the lid, but here it looks more like a hat. And I presume his hat is off his head because he's been given a garland of flowers. And, you know, I presume another argument for the hanged man really having been the numbers being reversed is because when we see the 8th card, it's done in, excuse me, where's the 8th card? You see how it's done, V1, 2, 3. So the V1, 2, 3 is, you know, and I think we're going to see that with all the 8s of this deck. So at this time, 8 was not 1, 1x as it is on the hanged man. Wow, this is a beautiful, beautiful deck. So the faces aren't as bug-eyed as they are in the younger man's deck of 1713. There's certainly an elegance about this. So we have 10, 8, 9 is out of sequence, so I'll just put it back in there. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Wow. That's a blue. That is a really saturated blue. Oh my goodness. What a pretty face. What a pretty face he has. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Jean Payen, 1743, ace. Okay, for sure I'm going to be doing another video very soon, probably tomorrow. Maybe even this afternoon, but probably more like tomorrow, comparing it with the younger relations of 1713. This publication is the only one I have of the Jean-Pierre Payen. This one's done by Renaud. And then with the Dodal, this copy by Robledo. So I'm eager. I can't wait to do a comparison of these three cards. That'll be the next video. And then we're going to sink our teeth into the Noble. I have several Noble decks, but you can't have too many Nobles, especially if you're someone who loves it, you know. And oh, I wanted to do see if I could shuffle the cards, comment on that. Now, I have people call piano fingers, but it's still a little. Oh, wow! Did you see that? Oh wow, that's beautiful flexibility. Well, you know what? If my hand was a little bigger, I could probably. Yeah, this is nice, very nice. Let me see if I can shuffle it more corner to corner. Yeah, I might not be able to, there goes, it's not the cards, it's me, folks. It's not the cards, it's me. Yeah, look, you can see how it bends, right? And let's try to do it this way. Oh yeah, it glides. So unlike other cards, other publications where the cards are, you know, nice cardstock, right? You know, art paper. Sometimes they're very stiff and they're hard to shuffle. If you had longer hands than I do, perhaps if you're a gentleman. Yeah, let's get a couple more on this side. I don't think you'll have any trouble riffle shuffling this deck. It might just be a tad bit of a challenge if you have smaller hands. But I can, you know, if I get the hang of it, I'll be able to do it. I'll still be able to riffle shuffle. I just have to get the hang of it. But if you're a reader, not just a collector, and you know, and you want to use this deck for reading, I think you'll be fine with the shuffling. It's exceptional paper. As a matter of fact, I wish everybody would make, you know, I wish all the art groups, you know, that would use this kind of cardstock. It's real nice, real nice. The color, gorgeous. The cardstock, real nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be using this one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you go check out Marco's Facebook page. I think that's where he sells his work. I'll provide the link for Marco's Facebook page in the directions down below. Until next time, which will be soon, because I'll be doing another one very soon. Peace and stay well, friends.